Greetings from the Decaffeinated Horse Studio. My name is Marcus, and today I'm looking at the late 80s Italian slasher classic, Stage Fright. Welcome to my vlog. Each and every week here, I add Italian horror and Giallo films on Blu-ray to my collection. And this week, I am adding Stage Fright, the 1987 Italian slasher, directed by Michele Soavi. Now, this video is surely the quickest turnaround I've had from conception to shooting the vlog. I knew I wanted to do a Soavi movie next, so I did put a poll up on Twitter. And as soon as it became obvious Stage Fright was going to win, I went ahead and ordered it. And as loath as I am to promote Amazon, I did get same-day delivery, so ripped open the Blu-ray, watched the movie, and here I am a couple days later shooting this vlog in the midst of a sweltering summer. So yeah, let's get into this a bit, talk about Soavi a bit. I've mentioned him on previous episodes. Now, I know he was a horror movie fan from a young age. He knew he wanted to get into the movie business. He actually did some acting like in the late 70s and early 80s before becoming an assistant director, working on a few films, including 2 or 3 by Dario Argento. From there, he directed a couple music videos. And that's sort of what got him noticed and offered his first directing job, the movie that became Stage Fright. I know that he says, looking back at the time, he didn't feel like he was ready, but he was hardly going to say no. This was his dream job, so he jumped right in. He did surround himself with a crew that he had mostly worked with before. I'm sure that made it easier. And this was a low-budget movie. It's actually shot in Italy, Italian cast, Italian crew, which is interesting because if you watch the movie, they portray it as taking place in America, but in any event, let's get started. Let's move on to Stage Fright, also known as Delirium and Bloody Bird, Aquarius, which is not a good title at all. Soundstage Massacre, I think, is the other title, but we're going to stick with Stage Fright. Here we go. On to Stage Fright. Now, the release I purchased is from Blue Underground, this Blu-ray right here. It's probably from about 10 years ago. As much as I would love a 4K release of this movie, I don't see it happening anytime soon, which is tragic. But so the story in the movie, it takes place in a theater. A cast is rehearsing a musical about a crazed murderer, a murderer who wears a bird head mask, or I guess it's more of an owl head, oversized owl head. And Alicia, one of the characters, she sprains her ankle. So her and another cast member go to a nearby mental hospital to get medical help. Like, that's the thing you do. They do tape up her ankle while she's there, and she wanders around there a bit. Anyway, silly premise aside, at one point, there's a crazed killer that's locked up there who escapes, and he follows these 2 cast members back to the theater. Everyone gets locked up in this building together. All the cast is there, and unbeknownst to them, the killer is inside as well. Setup is a little clunky, but once we get that far, fantastic movie. And it's a brilliantly lit movie, by the way. This is a colorful, late 80s slasher in every sense of the word. It's attractive people in 80s clothes being stalked. There are gruesome murders. There's a booming score. Just an over-the-top look for this movie, like you would expect in the late 80s. Some of the performances are a little over the top as well, but that's befitting for this story, I think. I mean, I think I say this a lot, but this movie is a lot of fun, and it really is. At times, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. Other times, it's quite suspenseful. Really, I feel like the movie is at its best though in the final act when it comes down to the final girl and the killer. There's a cat and mouse game between them. The music is amped up. The suspense is amped up. I mean, it's a really wild time. And by the way, there are a ton of murders in this movie, if that's what you like. I think I had the body count at 11, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, this, I don't like to spoil it too much, but just let's say this is a fantastic Italian, blood drenched, late 80s slasher. Highly recommended. I hope I've done a good job selling this movie to you. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. And there's some stuff I didn't even talk about. I didn't want to spoil too much, but there is a great set piece I probably should have mentioned towards the end where the final girl is trying to get the key away from the killer. Once you see it, you know what I'm talking about. It's really well done. This movie is a lot different than most of the movies I've done in this channel. It has something in common with the Demons movies, because it is from the same time period. But this is just a colorful, intense late 80s slasher. Really enjoyable. Suave showed so much potential with this movie. So incidentally, from there, he went on to be an assistant director. Again, he worked for Terry Gilliam. And I know he said he learned a lot from working with Gilliam, as well as those movies he did with Argento. This probably helped him to grow, because from there he made The Church and The Sect, both of which were produced by Dario Argento. Those are both supernatural, atmospheric horror movies, just dripping with style. After that, he made Cemetery Man, which is sort of a surreal zombie comedy splatterfest. I haven't actually seen that movie in 30 years. I saw it in the theater when it first came out. Haven't seen it since. Gotta revisit that at some point. After that, he stopped working in movies for a while, mostly to spend time with his ailing son. From there, he worked in Italian television. He eventually did direct some more movies. The 2006 movie, The Goodbye Kiss, is supposedly really good. That's sort of a neo noir thriller. And then he also made the Legend of the Christmas Witch, which is like a Christmas lighthearted fantasy movie. Maybe I should watch that. I can't really cover it on the vlog, but I do hope to get to some of his other movies, though. He progressed so much and made such different movies. But Stage Fright is where it all started. A real good time. Thanks for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. If you get the chance, check out some of my old vlogs. I've done vlogs on Dario Argento, Mario Bava, Lucio Fulci. Speaking of Fulci, I don't know what I'm doing next week, but one of the ideas I had was covering The Psychic. I do have the 4K Ultra HD release here. That's one of his 1970s Giallo movies. Another thing I was thinking of doing, another Giallo, which is a ton of fun, is Strip Nude for Your Killer. That's more of a mid to late 70s sleazy Giallo. I think that's going to be really enjoyable. But I don't know. I have a lot of ideas bursting from my head. There's a Dario Argento movie which I didn't cover in my top 10 list. I'd love to do an episode devoted to that. Maybe that's coming up soon. But anyway, join me next week, full of surprises. And hey, make sure subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss an episode. Like this video. That helps promote it. And if you have suggestions, drop a comment below. Track me down on social media. I'm at Decaffeinated Horror on all sorts of social medias. Thanks again. See you next week.